Hi, in this video I'll be showing you how to connect your Micro800 PLC through the Ethernet, connecting to our Anybus ABC4090 communicator to exchanging data with your other controllers on different networks such on the other side. So the Anybus communicator is a great way to segregate networks between the two OT networks. So you will need to configure the Anybus communicator. That way you'll be able to exchange data between the two OT networks. To configure the ABC communicator, you need to connect the Ethernet to your Ethernet port to your PC, and the top Ethernet port of the communicator is always designated as the configuration port. Once you connected it up and powered it up as well, you should go to our website for the communicator, go to support and downloads, and then download the software HMS IP config. This is a great tool to detect any of that any bus communicators or any bus products on your network. So once you have the HMS IP config installed, just open it up. Best to always refresh it, that way it will be up to date. So you should always update your IP address of your communicator to be the same subnet as your PC, or you could always just update the IP address on your PC instead. So as you can see, I've already pre-configured the IP address of my communicator. And just before we start configuring, it'll be always best to ping your communicator just in case if anything, you can see if anything's wrong with it. Great, as you can see, it's being pinged, so there's nothing wrong with it. So we're good to go with going ahead with the configuration. To actually configure the communicator, just click on this worlds icon here, and it'll open up the web browser to the communicator. Now on the configuration page, you can see on the communicator, I've already configured it to be Ethernet, to be exchanging data from an Ethernet to Modbus, but by default the ABC4090 is the default configuration is Ethernet to Profinet. With the ABC4090, that is the common Ethernet model, so you can always update the firmware. So just go back to our website and go on the ABC4090 page, and you can just go down to firmware and this download the required firmware to match your application. So you can always have it as Ethernet to Profinet, Modbus to Profinet, Ethernet to Profinet, and all these others as well. So once you download the firmware, just go back to the communicator, files and firmware, and just upload the firmware on this page here. So for now, we'll start configuring the Ethernet side. By default, the DHCP is enabled, but you can always disable it and then change your IP address and subnet mask. The gateway address, primary DNS, secondary DNS, and hostname it's all optional, and it's all up to your preference. So in this application, you can see about connection I've already accepted only matching IO sizes. And if we go to application, you can see from the Ethernet side of the MicroLogics, I'm sending out 20 bytes of data, and then writing 20 bytes of data, and then reading 10 bytes of data. For the EDS file, there's no need for you to go to our web page to download the EDS file. You can just download the EDS file directly from the communicator here. Just make sure you always keep it. So in CCW, you can see I already set up a Ethernet CIP generic messaging function block here. So online, you can find a good PowerPoint document that was published by Rockwell that explains all the function of the MicroLogic 800. So I'll just give you a quick read. And so you can see how it's enabled here on this page, sorry. And then you can control which other control methods. Yes. And what each of these functions mean. So you can have a quick read of these and pause the video whenever you want on for these pages. But I'll also provide a link to where you can download this in the video. And once we finish with this, we'll go through the live demo on the CCW. So this error code page explains the current errors you'll be experiencing in your configuration for your CCW. If there's anything wrong, you can see the errors here. So now we'll go to our live system. So in this one, you can see I've already set up to CIP messaging. The right messaging block is for the Micro800 to be writing data to the other systems, and the read messaging block here is the one for the Micro800 to be reading data from the other control systems. So if we look at the right application here, you can see the service and the class 16 and 4, but the instance and attribute is the Anybus parameter, this by set default. And then if you look at the read, they are also different as well. These are all determined by the actual devices you're connecting with the instance and attribute. These will be the Anybus parameters. And we'll have a look at the right target, which is where you enter the IP address of the Ethernet I/O devices. So if you write to the 192.168.10.20, which is the IP address of the Anybus communicator, then the reason we're using the 4 is because since we're using a Micro800 PLC and we're configuring it through the Ethernet port, their Ethernet port is 4. We use a connection mode 1 because it's a class 3 connection, and by default the timeouts is 3,000 and 10,000. The read would be the same as well. For the write data, this is where you can identify which memory tags are mapping the data to the Anybus communicator, and also reading the data from the communicator as well. For the request length, we set it as 20 bytes because we've already set it up in the Anybus communicator to send data only 20 bytes and then read 10 bytes of data. So if you look at the configuration page, you can see we're writing 20 bytes of data and reading 10 bytes of data here. So we'll go through now the live demo. You can change the value from the right data section here. And then as you can see, we're transferring 99, 60, 12, 8, 10, and 86 from the Micro800. And if you open you can also see this data on the Anybus communicator. So in the Anybus communicator webpage, just go through diagnostics, IO data, and press start, and then you can see the data in real time. So you can also change the format. That way it'll be much easier for you to read. So as you can see, we were transferring 99, 80, 99, 60, 12, 8, 10, and 86. But you can also see it being changed live. Just go back. So here we go from the Micro800. Let's change it. Let's play around with it. So you can see the data is changing as in real time. And so you can see the communication on the other side can also read this data live. So Anybus communicator 4090 is a quite powerful communicator, as you can communicate between these common Ethernet protocols. You can always just update the firmware to change your protocols needed. So just go back to the supported downloads and look for the firmwares and just download the right firmware and then update it on the web page. If you need to ever contact us for any support, you can always reach us through our contact, or you can always have a chat with us on live chat in this one on our websites here. Thank you for watching.